remember the name Belal Muhammad. The championship of the welterweight division is on the line here. Belal Muhammad, 24-3-0, 5 wins by KO, 1 by sub, 6 fight win streak. Last time out beating Leon Edwards by unanimous decision. He's coming up against the number 5 ranked welterweight Jack Della Maddalena, who is 17-2-0, 12 wins by KO, 2 by sub, and he's 7-0 in the UFC. Last time out beating Gilbert Burns by KO. In my opinion, losing that fight just before he got the finish. But anyway, we are into another championship fight here, BG. So who's gonna
Mhm.
walk away with this one? Do you think?
Fascinating matchup, really. Just because I think Jack Dalla is a good prospect, a good challenge. For Belal, especially for the stand, because Jack Dalla has very good takedown defense. He's very powerful, good boxing as well. And this may be his time, but and it's a big but, and it might be you might find this a bit strange. But I do think that Belal is finally coming into his own. And as much as he's a boring guy and he's not the most entertaining person to listen to, when it comes down to fighting, the dude fights, and he game plans to win. I think his personality is overshadowing the way he fights. If I'm being realistic, because watching back the fight against Leon Edwards, I thought, oh, this dude is actually like he's on some levels here in terms of the IQ, right? Doesn't necessarily have the strongest hands, right? But he's got a gas tank that's almost unmatched in the welterweight division, if we're being honest. And the style, the way he mixes up that boxing to set up his takedowns and then to fight and to keep you there, it's championship levels kind of stuff, right? That being said, I do think he's inferior boxing when it comes to Jack Della Maddalena in this fight. I do think that he's gonna Bilal's gonna have to fight his ego a little bit in this one because this whole thing of I'm not gonna shoot for any takedowns and I'm just gonna box this guy out and prove to you why I'm the champion and da. I think I think he needs to be careful by doing that because if he does that, I think Jack stands a very good chance of putting him away, and we could end up having Bilal. Don't remember the name Mohammed come this the Sunday. So yeah, fascinating matchup. Really fascinating matchup. My heart wants Jack Della Maddalena to win. I really want him to win because then that's going to guarantee Islam Makhachev into welterweight. So I want Jack Della to win really so badly, but for some reason, and I hope I'm fucking wrong. For some reason, I think Bilal Muhammad's going to win this fight. I think he's
Yeah,
going to
I'm
game plan
inclined
him.
to. I'm inclined to agree, bruh. And just to your point there about the striking, if we look at the Leon Edwards fight, Leon Edwards is touted by many as the greatest striker in the welterweight division at this time. And look, Bilal did more than hold his own on the feet there.
Was
Of course,
better.
not the same kind of striker, but yeah, it's just a testament to how far his striking has developed. And of course, his grappling is superior.
Yeah,
Training with the guys out of Dagestan, those guys don't play.
yeah.
So yeah, but I'm inclined to agree with you. Yeah, I do think Bilal's gonna get it done, and
Mm,
as usual, he probably get it done over 5 rounds,
yeah.
unanimous decision. But yeah, I'm also hoping for a JDM KO. I think I
Yeah.
mentioned to you coming into the card that I don't feel like he's quite deserving of a title shot. I think there's of course other guys who could have got the shot before him, but he's here, and yeah,
Mm,
it's a good guy, and I hope he can give a
mm,
good account of himself. And more than anything, I'm just hoping for a good fight. But yeah,
yeah.
I do think Bilal's going to get the job done here. BG, do you have any other thoughts on this one
Yeah,
before we transition? Yeah.
I do. Just to your point about the deserving, I think he admitted that as well in an interview on Submission Radio that he was one fight away. He was happy to take the fight against Leon. That was the fight he wanted before a title shot. So he was pretty much very modest in the way that he described it. He was like, dude, I was literally in a camp for Leon, and then they phoned me. He's like, oh, we're gonna turn your plans around. You're gonna fight Bilal, and he was like, whoa, um, what do I do here? And then he's just like, I'm just gonna take the shot then. So I
Mm.
think he, in his own right, he was pretty much on the same path of what you were saying that yeah, I should actually get another fight before Bilal, but yeah, he is. And I think he was. Personally, I think in terms of matchup wise, I am not. I'm not upset at the fight. I'm not upset at the matchup at all. I think that he is the next best. If I'm being honest, Shafkat's out. Ian Gary's on backup, but I think you can't really take away from Jack Della in terms of where he put himself. It's just that injury is why we didn't see enough of him. But now he's here, so he's got the fight. And in terms of the boxing, in terms of the striking that you mentioned with Leon Edwards, technique wise, he's the best striker in the welterweight. In terms of You want the best looking technique, and that it's just the nicest to watch, and it's by the book, it's textbook. But
Mm.
effectiveness, MMA striking, Belal's striking is better in terms of effectiveness because Belal's going to strike in a way that Leon wants to be more precise. He wants to set up a one perfect shot, maybe a two punch combination, which he loves to throw with a right into a hard left into the body. Leon loves that. He's got a good 1-2. He's got a good left and then a left punch and then to a left high kick. But Belal's going to throw a lot more at you, and then it's going to open up a lot more avenues, which is the grappling. You know what I mean? And that ultimately is an MMA fight. If they were fighting pure kickboxing, Leon will fuck all of them up. But it's not pure kickboxing. This is, MMA. You have to think about what happens if I grab you. What happens if I go into the void and you can't kick me? You have to elbow
Yeah.
me here. That's the most range I'm going to give you now is an elbow. So it changes the whole dynamic. And I think that's why Belal beat him. And it's a very dangerous thing to fight against that style. So that's why this makes a very interesting matchup. And that's why I'm leading towards Belal to win.
Yeah, and that kind of does open the can of worms about what is better in MMA: a great striker or a good striker who can grapple, who's a great
Mm,
grappler. Because it does change the way that guys approach fights when somebody
exactly.
has this kind of grappling prowess. So yeah, I mean, from what it sounds like, what we're both saying here is that Bilal's just got too many avenues, too many
Yeah.
streams to kind of win the fight. So likely looking for him to get it done here. I haven't checked any betting numbers yet, but we can
Me
get to that
neither.
in a second. So yeah,
But
bro, we
Jack,
both.
last
Yep.
thing on Jack, sorry, Eddie.
No.
Last thing on Jack, 17 fight win streak. He only lost 2 fights in his career, and that was the first 2 fights of his career.
Yeah.
Right? And he lost those fights by getting gassed out, and then eventually the fighters came back. But he was putting it on those fighters, and he started as a grappler first before becoming a striker. So it's a very intriguing matchup, bro. As much as I'm saying Bilal is gonna win the fight, it's gonna be a hard fight for Bilal, but I think he's
Y-
gonna win it. I don't want to completely overlook Jack.
Yeah, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The betting numbers, as we can see, Bilal Muhammad starting as the favorite there is 1.53, and I would say that's a fair line. I think Jack Della is quite good value there, actually at 2.55. So yeah, if you are betting, be careful. As we always say, gamble responsibly. And yeah, like and subscribe to Fighting with Friends. Get us monetized so we can get Brother Gaia a new microphone over there.
Yeah.
Get me some new clothes and yeah, all those nice things, ladies and gentlemen.